primary is March 17th in Illinois, where Republicans and Democrats are going to be going to call their party ballots and take it to the booth and fill it out, and who they want to have as their nominees heading into the November election. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. So you got the State Board of Elections yesterday meeting, and they certified the ballots, and you can go and see who the active candidates are in these various races. Go to the Illinois State Board of Elections website. It's elections.il.gov, and if you're an active voter, I would encourage you to go check this out, just so you can keep up to date and look at all of the various things you need to know. So if you go to Information for Voters, you click through that, and then you'll see who's running for office. You click on who's running for office. That'll take you to this with more prompts. You want to click here to search filing candidates. Got a hyperlink, you click through, and then you see general primary for March 17th. 643 people filed. But yesterday, the State Board of Elections did meet. They've been meeting off and on here the past few weeks to deal with objections to various candidates' filings that happened late last year. And those objections, people saying, oh, the signature's not real, or the signature doesn't fit the form, or, they don't have enough signatures, or there was even arguments that Raja Krishnamurthy, who is the one of the Democrats running for U.S. Senate, isn't a citizen of the U.S. When they responded, they provided proof of citizenship, so that objection was thrown out. So a whole bunch of different objections out there. But what you could do here is you could select which office. So you know what? Just for the heck of it, while we're talking about the U.S. Senate, let's look at U.S. state senators. So we're not going to click all candidates. We're going to click active candidates, because there were a lot of candidates that were removed yesterday. So I just want to give you the active candidates for the Republicans and the Democrats who are officially on the ballot here. All right, so you've got Kevin Ryan, a Democrat, Robin Kelly, a Democrat, Juliana Stratton, Lieutenant Governor, who's a Democrat running for U.S. Senate, Raja Krishnamurthy, a Democrat. You've got Steve Botsford Jr., a Democrat, active, Brian Maxwell, a Democrat, Jonathan Dean, a Democrat, Sean Brown, a Democrat, and Awisi Bustos, a Democrat, Christopher Sean, a Democrat. Let's move on to the next page. Again, you can see. And then here's the Republican candidates. Casey Klepbeck, Don Tracy, Carrie Caparelli, Pamela Denise Long, Jimmy Lee Tillman II, and Jeannie Evans. Again, these are all. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Republicans running. And then you've got, how many is this? 16 Democrats running. Some of them may be taken off the ballot. Some of them may withdraw, but that looks like a pretty crowded ballot for the U.S. Senate. So let's go back to the page where we can select the office and look at the candidates for governor. Governor, Lieutenant Governor. So we'll submit that for active candidates. Now, I did get confirmation here. All right, so it does show that Patricia Tillman is a Democrat candidate for Lieutenant Governor, and she does have objections pending. A spokesperson for the State Board of Elections early this morning did confirm, even though it says active here, they are in the process of removing her from the official ballots for not having enough signatures. So Patricia Tillman not going to be on the ballots, but Governor J.B. Pritzker will be, and he will be unopposed on the Democrat ticket. But then you look at the Republican candidates that are active in this race. So March 17th, these are the Republicans you're going to be able to vote for in the primary. And this is going to be who wins going on to challenge Governor J.B. Pritzker in the November election. Ted Dabrowski, active candidate, is Lieutenant Governor candidate. Kerry Mendoza. James Mendrick, DuPage County Sheriff, active candidate. You've got Robert Renteria as his running mate, active candidate. Darren Bailey and Aaron Delmar, active candidates for the Republican Party, challenging Governor J.B. Pritzker if he wins. And then you've got Rick Heidner and their Lieutenant Governor selection as well. Again, these are the active candidates that are going to be on the March primary ballot. So yesterday, you had Darren Bailey hold a news conference in Springfield in front of what they call the ceremonial office of the governor at the state capitol. And we had cameras in place, and he laid out what he says is his blueprint for Illinois, and it includes addressing property taxes.
This plan establishes a clear standard. No family should be required to pay more in property taxes than their mortgage payment. It caps annual property tax increases and requires the state to meet its responsibility to fund education fairly. This will reduce reliance on local property taxes and unfunded mandates. Homeownership should provide stability and security, not uncertainty.
Bailey also talked about the uncertainty with high energy prices and how it's not just hitting, families across the state. As you see just incredible price increases over the past summer. You also have small businesses that want to expand. They want to invest more, but when they get all of a sudden a bill from $3,000 to $6,000, that's going to take away their ability to expand and hire more people and to have a larger business altogether. And Bailey says that's really not the fault of that small business owner. It's these high energy prices, he says, needs to be addressed.
That is not a failure of small business owners. This is a failure of Illinois government and J.B. Pritzker's policies in particular. When energy policy is written far from public view, it doesn't hurt politicians. It hurts people like her. When small businesses struggle, entire communities feel it. The blueprint for Illinois addresses this directly. It repeals J.B. Pritzker's failed CEJA legislation. It freezes new rate increases, rolls back cost-driving mandates, and it requires independent public audits on major utility contracts. Energy costs must be predictable. They must be transparent, and they must be affordable.
Are they affordable right now? With the law that Governor J.B. Pritzker signed yesterday, you've got Republicans and business owners worried that's going to increase the price of utilities substantially by not lifting the end date for coal-fired, natural gas-fired power plants, but instead investing in battery storage. So are we going to see increased prices? That's what some are worrying about. But as part of Bailey's push to be the Republican nominee, he talked about the need for public safety. Bailey's running mate, Aaron Delmar, talking about the need for people to be held accountable for wrongdoing.
The blueprint for Illinois restores a balanced, responsible approach to public safety. It reinforces real consequences for repeat violent offenders. It supports law enforcement. It expands prevention efforts and puts victims and their families back at the center of the justice system. Safety is not optional. It is a core responsibility of government. Judicial independence matters, but it must exist alongside accountability. When judges repeatedly release violent offenders in ways that endanger the public, the system must have mechanisms to respond.
So what those mechanisms could be, there are ways you can vote on some judges in Illinois, and these are political offices a lot of times. And you can also vote for state's attorneys, and those are the people who are going to be prosecuting these crimes, and a lot of times the ones who are going to have the judge's ear when it comes to not just sentencing, but also pretrial detention and such. So public safety is going to be a focus of the Bailey administration if they get elected, but they got to get through a March primary. Delmar talking also about the need for efficient government.
Illinois government has become too complex, too costly, and too insulated from oversight. The blueprint reduces duplication. It eliminates waste. It requires long-term program views and publishes all state spending online. It prohibits legislators from becoming lobbyists for 5 years and establishes a very simple rule. For every new unfunded mandate, 2 existing mandates must be eliminated.
We've heard these types of promises before. How does something like that get done with a Democrat-led legislature? So again, that's a question that at least we hope to talk with the Bailey campaign about, and we will make those efforts again to get a one-on-one with the former state senator and former gubernatorial candidate. I mean, Bailey ran in 2022 against Governor Pritzker, winning the primary there with an interesting slate of Republican candidates. But, we've also got an interesting slate this year, right? You've got Ted Dabrowski, some would say a policy expert, has been watching Illinois state government and the numbers for quite some time, everything from population decreases to education outcomes to state spending on nonprofits. So you're going to have an interesting debate amongst these Republicans, and Jim Mendrick, DuPage County Sheriff, focusing on public safety, and you've got Rick Heidner. Be interesting to see what his platform is, and how what his candidacy means for the Republican Party in particular. As you've got Darren Bailey looking to get another chance to take on Governor J.B. Pritzker. But Aaron Delmar, he says one thing that the Bailey administration would do is a Doge type of approach in Illinois, Department of Government Efficiency.
Waste, fraud, and corruption. Let me be clear. This is not about punishing public employees who have served honorably. This is about ensuring every contract, every grant, and every dollar is spent on the public with public scrutiny available to it. When government is transparent, trust can begin to return.
Again, you've got Bailey taking to the microphone, being asked about priorities, and he says, listen, there's a lot of money coming into the state of Illinois, but how the money's being spent, he has a problem with.
Let's look at this past year, $2.5 billion magically surfaced to take care of people here who were here illegally and give them their health insurance, to feed them, to house them, yet we ignore our own citizens. Just recently, $1.5 billion was pulled from the highway and the roads to bail out Chicago Transit Authority. I mean, that's just a tip of the iceberg. You know as well as I do, when we delve in to this 3,000 to 5,000 page document called the budget, that some of that literature and wording has existed for years, it needs to be broke down, it needs to be audited, it needs to be opened up so that people know where their money's coming from. I am very confident there are going to be a lot of waste discovered in that.
We'll see. Of course, that's Darren Bailey, who ran against Governor J.B. Pritzker in 2022. He needs to get through a primary election with several other Republicans. Earlier this week, we heard some from Ted Dabrowski, who's a Republican looking to get the nomination. He held his own news conference about the child care spending and all the increases in spending there's been under the Pritzker administration, where exactly all that money's going, and how that's going to be handled with the Dabrowski administration. We'll hear from Jim Mendrick, I'm sure. Rick Heidner we'll see. But those are the four candidates that are going to be on the primary ballot. So a lot of us having to hear all of this, and we'll bring it to you each and every weekday morning as we can at thecentersquare.com. Again, go to thecentersquare.com, sign up for the newsletter today, and get the headlines tomorrow. All right, it's right here with The Center Square.